Hey guys, it's me, NishQuickPops, back with another Xenogears and Xenoblade 2 analysis. If you guys remember part 1, I was analyzing the Perfect Works timeline and drawing parallels between events in Xenogears to the events of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 within the 5-part timeline that was established in Xenogears. Here in part 2, I'll still be drawing parallels between the two games, but I'll be looking at character archetypes. This one's going to be really fun, because a lot of character archetypes that were established in Xenogears within this Perfect Works story have been reoccurring character archetypes that Tetsuya Takahashi and Soraya Saga have been using in Xenosaga and Xenoblade. And with this, obviously, I'm going to be focusing on Xenoblade 2. And of course, this goes without saying, but this is going to be a very spoiler-filled video for both Xenogears and Xenoblade 2. Just a reminder, if you love the Xeno series, please give this video a like and subscribe for more content like this. It really helps out the channel. Let's start the analysis. First of all, let's talk about one character trope or archetype that is prominently at play in Xenoblade 2 that is a testament to Soraya Saga's legacy on the Xeno series. Takahashi's wife was responsible for a lot of the character writing in Xenogears, but one duo in particular was Bart, the heir to the throne of Ave and the Fatima dynasty, and his cousin Margie, the next holy mother of Nissan. Bart is shown as a brash and stubborn, but loyal and supportive friend and ruler, while Margie is portrayed as a girl devoted to her role as holy mother, but also has a youthful, childlike, and spunky energy and demeanor to her, in opposition to the other female characters around her, such as Ellie and Maria. In my opinion, I can really see Bart and Margie in the characters of Zeke and Pandoria. Zeke particularly is basically Bart in his role as Crown Prince of Tantal, but who is brash, goofy, and sometimes often disobedient. They have their differences, like I think Bart is a lot more hot-headed and Zeke is way more silly, but you can clearly see the comparisons. As for Pandoria and Margie, it's more in their personality and character, as well as their closeness and deep bond and connection to their royal counterpart. Zeke and Pandoria are a driver and blade duo who are inseparable and have been through thick and thin together. Bart and Margie are cousins who have also been through some very tough times together, but are also supposed to get married eventually? I know it's pretty weird, but that's Ave royalty for you, I guess. Their closeness is very well portrayed near the middle of Disc 1, where you see them both work together as two sides of the Fatima Jasper to uncover Ave's secret royal treasure, the Omnigear Andvari. One interesting parallel I noticed is how artificial humans and life forms are represented in these two games. So in Xenogears, we have Emeralda, who's a nanomachine colony. She's Kim and Elheim's daughter, who they created with the use of nanomachines, since because of genetic imbalance, the two of them, like many others in the Zeboim era, could not have children. In Xenoblade 2, we see Poppy, who is an artificial blade, basically a robot who acts the same as a blade, but is not entirely powered the same way a blade draws power from their driver. She isn't powered by affinity and is not awakened by the use of a core crystal. She is created by Tora and his family, since they themselves could not awaken blades and be true drivers like other people in Allrest. So there's a little bit of a parallel between Tora and his family's inability to resonate with core crystals and the people of Zeboim who could not have children. And then you see Poppy, who is an artificial blade, and then you have Emeralda, who's a nanomachine colony. These two characters share that role of being artificially created life forms who learn to find humanity and purpose within themselves and those around them. So let's now talk about some villains a bit before I go into the most important character parallels. So as I played Xenogears, a lot of Ramses's personality and character arc reminded me a bit of Malos. Of course, Malos is a divine aegis and a part of the Trinity processor used to birth the universes of Xenoblade 1 and 2, while Ramses is an artificially created being that latched itself to the body of a Solarian boy who is destined to mature into a clone of Emperor Cain and a counterpart to Faye, eventually being used as a tool by Krelian and Miang to assassinate Cain himself. The differences are apparent, but both characters exhibit narcissistic tendencies and are also very inherently angry and vengeful people. As for their pains and miseries, they're both cast into roles and set on paths that they initially had no agency in choosing. Ramses never wanted to be a clone of Cain, and the fact that his original purpose was to be an artificial contact makes things even worse for him. He feels subordinate, he feels like such a much lesser being compared to his nemesis who one-ups him in every step of the way, who is Faye. He just sees himself as trash, as the Gazelle Ministries say, and his entire life is centered around giving himself meaning and purpose in this existence perpetuated on misery. Malos also never truly wanted to be the hateful and destructive person that he became, but his goals, ideals, and views of the world were shaped by the negative, distorted, and toxic mind and ambitions of Amalthus. In the end of the game, Malos reflects on what life could have been if he was instead awoken by a positive and generous driver like Rex. And throughout the game, he questions his existence, purpose, and motives with himself and Jin. Both characters share a very strong existential crisis and loss of identity, but are portrayed in very different ways. Krelian and Amalthus also have a lot in common. When I played Xenogears, I initially couldn't equate Krelian to any other villain in the series. Maybe a little bit of Egil, but the more I thought about it, the more I did see Amalthus in him. Even though Krelian was on the side of the heroes in episode 4, his mind was twisted from the start. He was always inherently a violent and unstable man, only ever finding peace within himself from Sophia's teachings and presence. But the connection between Krelian and Amalthus is strongest once we see Krelian lose his faith. His faith in humanity and God is severed once Sophia dies, and all he can think of is reaching that pinnacle of human divinity himself. He iconically says that he will create God with his own hands to prove that such a power truly exists and to free humanity from its terrible clutches of greed, avarice, and negativity. Amalthus loses faith in humanity much earlier in life, when he loses his mother to a band of thieves and brigands, but he continues to see misery, corruption, and bad and malicious intentions in the people of Alrest throughout his life, even when he and many others try to extend a helping hand. After all this, he seeks the Architect for answers, and returns with the Aegis cores. Once he awakens Malos and sets his wrath upon Alrest, Amalthus's god complex grows and grows as he ascends to the position of the Praetor of the Indoline Praetorium and uses his power and influence to slowly drain Alrest titans and blades of all their ether and energy. Both of these characters experience loss and pain that leads to their faith in humankind being shattered, and which forms a sort of a god complex within them that only they themselves can release and save humanity from the shackles of such pain and misery. Of course, with both characters being villains, they go about things in a very wrong way, which leads to their downfall in the hands of the protagonists as well. Graf is my favorite character in all of Xenogears. He was once a man named Lacan who was the contact like Faye, destined to free the wave existence from his shackles in the mortal world. After losing his lover, his Era's Ellie, to the Solaris War, he falls into a state of despair, and as an incomplete contact, makes contact with Zohar in the Way of Existence on the behest of Myang, which turns him into the evil and foreboding Graf. Graf's goal in Xenogears is to destroy Mother God, and by this he specifically means he wants to put an end to Myang's endless cycle of resurrection and the inevitable rise of Deus. He also wants himself as the contact and his lover Ellie to be free of this vicious cycle of releasing the Wave Existence. So what other way to do this than to just destroy the entire world? To me, Graf is the typical Xeno Sad Boy here, and no other Xenoblade 2 character fits that trope better than Jin. Jin was once a stoic and contemplative, loving, and introspective man just like Lacan was, but once he loses Laura, everything changes for him. He feels the world is worthless, corrupt, and full of malice and evil. How could something like this happen when there was once hope for the future and love in his life? How could someone like the Architect ever let this happen to him or any other blade in the world of Allrest? Jin also wants to destroy the world, but not for the exact same reason that Graf does. Jin is confused and furious with the Architect for creating blades the way that they are. Why can they not hold on to the memories of their driver once their driver passes away? Why can't blades and drivers live truly in harmony with each other? Why can't Jin's happy memories just stay intact? Lacan probably had very similar questions, but it's pretty evident that these two emotional men, once destined for great and powerful futures, both lose their way and their own faith in humanity and mankind after the loss of their loved one at the hands of a great evil. For Lacan, it was to Solaris, and for Jin, it was to Indal. Okay, so I saved the most interesting and commonly analyzed character trope present in Xenoblade 2 for last. Pyra, Mithra, and Numa are, you can say, the deuteragonists of Xenoblade 2's story. It is them who want to ascend the world tree to enter Elysium, and who set Rex on this journey with them. And it is them who experience a monumental shift in their character from hopeless, depressed, and shattered from prior experiences, trauma, and guilt from centuries ago, into hopeful, optimistic, and accepting of the future and how they will play a role in shaping it. Numa as a personality is split, and many identify Pyra and Mithra to be two different personalities created as a representation of DID, or dissociative identity disorder. First and foremost, I want to say I'm by no means an expert in any psychological and or psychiatric conditions and studies. I just analyze what I do from the Xeno series, so take that for what you will, and this is just some observations that I've made and many other people in the community have made as well. But it is apparent that Mithra experiences severe trauma after destroying the Tornin Titan and leaving her friend and younger brother figure, Milton, dead. And in this breakdown, after so much emotion building up inside of her, she locks herself away within herself, and as a replacement creates a persona that is everything that she isn't: kind, caring, sympathetic, and even a great cook. Pyra is Mithra, and Mithra is Pyra. They are two sides of Numa, and once she and Rex learn to love both sides of this whole personality, only then can they both unleash the true power of the Numa Aegis. Xenogears fans, you know where I'm going with this. But to fans of Blade who have not played Gears, first of all, what are you doing here? Go play the game. But to you guys who don't want to play the game or are still here or don't care about spoilers, you guys might be kind of blown away by this. Fei Fong Wong is the protagonist of Xenogears. Similar to Numa, he is a powerful being, destined for great and important things. Numa being the Aegis makes her a very powerful and positive force, a beacon of hope for mankind. And Faye, being the contact, gives him immense power that he must use wisely to free the wave existence and bring peace to the world. Like Mithra, Faye has a very traumatic experience in his life that paves the way for his character arc. His mother, overtaken by the influence of Myung, wants to tap into the animus powers within Faye to awaken his latent contact abilities to further her project of reviving Deus. During this period of his life, Faye is tortured, subjected to cruel and unusual punishments, and neglected by his family when he cries out for help. As a young child, this is obviously very traumatic for him. So much so that to deal with the pain and misery, Faye creates a new persona to deal with all the pain, suffering, misery, guilt, neglect, and negativity. This persona is very pointedly referred to as id, while the other persona, the coward, hides away within the recesses of the mind, recalling only all the happy memories Faye had with his mother, and entirely ignoring the reality of this harsh situation that is happening in front of him. This already creates a massive fracture within Faye's mind, and one day, when Graf comes to take Faye away and merge with him to return as a fully realized contact, Faye's inner powers erupt, causing his mother Karen to regain some mental control from Myung and shield her son from this massive wave of energy. This additional traumatic incident is another thing that adds a massive layer of conflict within Faye's personalities of id and the coward, as both of them blame the other for their mother's death. After being taken away by Graf and used as an agent of destruction in Elru and other continents, with id taking the primary presence in the persona hierarchy, Faye's father, Khan, finds them, saves Faye from Graf, and then develops a new personality within the already turbulent mind of Faye. This is the Faye we know and follow throughout the story of Xenogears Episode 5, although this Faye is a very underdeveloped man. He's basically a child in a man's body, learning things through the environment of Lahan and only being imparted the wisdom and teachings from Khan right before being dropped off at Lahan Village. Where the heck am I even going with all of this? How does Faye relate in any way to Numa? Well, of course you have the disassociated personalities, but also you have the differences in personality within the primary individual. Mithra is Pyra as much as Pyra is Mithra, and similarly, no matter how much they deny it, the coward and the id are the same. This is a perfect segue into the next part of this video, where I discuss psychological, religious, thematic, and real-world connections that Xenogears shares with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But unfortunately for that, you're going to have to wait for Part 3. When that's going to happen, I'm not entirely sure. Part 3 is the most extensive when it comes to all the analysis I'm doing for this project, so just hold tight, but it's going to be really worth it. Once again, thank you all so much for watching till the very end if you're still watching this far. I want to remind you guys that this is actually probably the most in-depth project that I'm ever doing on the entire Niche Quick Pops channel, so any and all support means the world to me. A simple like, a comment, subscribing as you're watching this video, hyping this video, even just playing Xenogears itself. Like, if you haven't played Xenogears, just play this game, especially if you're a Xenoblade 2 fan and you liked a lot of the characters that I talked about in this video, definitely give Xenogears a shot. Anyways, I will see you guys in Part 3, and hope you enjoyed this character analysis. This is Nishquick, signing off. Have a great day. Go play some great games today. Like Xenogears, drop everything you're playing and play Xenogears right now. I'll see you guys in the next one later. Hey guys, this is Nishquick. Thank you so much for watching that video. And if you enjoyed it, check out these two videos on the left and maybe subscribe if you haven't on your way out. And big shout out to all my channel members whose names you can see on the screen right now. I'll see you guys in the next video later.